Okay, yeah, we're good. We're good. Hi.
Hi, I'm Neka Nwokolo and I'm a consultant in HIV and sexual health. Many people, when they're first diagnosed, are worried that their life will change. And in many respects, their lives will change from the point of view of the fact that they have a condition that's been diagnosed that they didn't have before, and also that they'll need to take treatment for the rest of their lives. But actually, lots of people take treatment for the rest of their lives for lots of medical conditions. So as people with asthma often have to take treatment for the rest of their life. People with high blood pressure often have to take treatment for the rest of their life. Diabetics have to take treatment for their whole life. So the idea of having to take treatment for your life is not necessarily a bad thing in itself. But what's important with people who are positive is that the treatment for most people actually doesn't cause any problems. It's just a pill you take every day and your life goes on. You may feel that your life is changing because you've got this diagnosis of HIV. Actually, the reality is for most people, once they come to terms with the diagnosis, their life just goes on as it would have been and as it would have gone on if they hadn't been diagnosed. And one of the things that I try to reassure people about is that your life does not have to change for the worst. You should plan and should expect to do all the things that you would have done if you hadn't been diagnosed with HIV. And you shouldn't let your HIV diagnosis stop you from doing anything in your life that you'd planned to do before. And it's really important, I think, where possible, for people to try as much as they can to come to terms with the diagnosis so that they can move on and live the life that they always wanted to live.
My name is Aidan Walton. I'm a health advisor at a sexual health clinic in central London. I also specialise in working with my own community, which is trans and non-binary people. In the UK, in terms of disclosing status to future partners or current partners, people who are living with HIV don't owe the disclosure of their status to any of their sexual partners, so long as those people aren't being put at risk. So if you're living with a detectable viral load currently, you've just started medication or you haven't started yet, and you're using condoms, and if those condoms break, then the person is accessing PEP. If you're living with an undetectable viral load, then the risk is zero that we know once that's stable, so you're not putting those people at risk. So in terms of the disclosure, that's absolutely up to you, and if it's not something that you feel comfortable with or you don't think is necessary, then that's okay.
And at the same time, what are benefits of disclosure?
I think if people feel comfortable to do that, and if you feel comfortable to do that, I think that's a really useful thing, because it plays a part in owning your HIV status, and I think that's important. In terms of not disclosing, I think it's important for yourself and for everybody to think about personal safety and what that disclosure means in certain contexts. Is it a space where you are safe to disclose? Is it a wise thing to do in terms of the context of the person or people that you're with? I don't think there's ever a perfect way to disclose or time to, but valuing and judging each scenario and each partner on their own merits and basis of their understanding, I think that's something that you can do sort of as and when.
My name is Winnie Saruma, and I do international development work, community health projects, and I do most of this work in sub-Saharan Africa, and I love it. We are in an era at the moment where we now know that if someone is on effective treatment, they can't pass it on. Some of the most fantastic news that there is in terms of people living with HIV. We should all be embracing it. It shouldn't just be people living with HIV. It should be everyone. Because some of the people who don't have HIV at the moment might pick up HIV from people who are not on treatment. People who haven't tested. Even people who are in the medical profession are finding it hard to take the news and to relate the information about not passing on HIV to their patients. I remember engaging a nurse one time, and the nurse told me that I can't give this sort of information to my patients or the people that I engage with because they'll misbehave. It is those kinds of statements that are not helpful. People who are living with HIV on treatment and know their status are no longer a threat to anyone. We all need to embrace this information, and that's problematic because every individual is different, and it depends on what's going on in people's lives. It depends on the kind of support that they have around them. It depends on how they engage with the HIV information they get, and that's why it takes us, all different times, and it's a journey. It's a journey, it's a process, it's not an event.
My name's Shamal, and I'm a HIV activist and advocate. When I was diagnosed, it was almost like a relief. I don't know if you felt it. I'd had HIV tests before, and there was almost that relief of, oh, I haven't got it. But when I contracted HIV, there was almost that relief of, okay, I don't have to go through this again. It's there, finally. It's just done and dusted. I mean, at the time I thought, this is it, I'm going to die and I'm going to get AIDS eventually and blah, blah, blah. All of the stuff will happen that I was misunderstood about, and the tombstones did come flying into my head. But now I know that the treatment is so good that if you do get diagnosed with HIV, as soon as you're on that effective treatment, it's not something that you really need to worry about.
Are we rolling? Okay. Hi, I'm a very emotional Mr. Pam. I'm a proud and passionate gay pornographer, and I live in the United States. I'm originally from San Francisco, and I'm in Las Vegas right now. I'm a full-time gay porn director, love my job, love my boys. I'm Kaden, who's behind the camera, who I love so much, and I'm so supportive of all the work that you're doing.
Thank you.
And I know it's hard to come out being positive, and it's strange that it should be hard, but it is for a lot of people. And a lot of people, when they get diagnosed, they think their life is over. And I think that's why I'm crying right now, because two of my best friends in the world, I just remember them telling me, and it's been about 5 years, and they're living, they're okay. Everything's okay. It's kind of a bitch. And I know a lot of you'll get discriminated against on Grindr and Scruff, and it's silly because a lot of people are just not educated. Like, there's so many people who are, and they're like, oh, okay, I'm on PrEP, this is fine. Oh, you're undetectable. It's okay. There's no way to transmit HIV at all. Studies have come out over and over and over again for the last 10 years. But there's some people who choose, to not educate themselves, and it's their own bodies, and it's fine, just let them go. Maybe in a couple of years they'll understand. And I know a lot of people who have been diagnosed with HIV, and just all of a sudden they've been forced to take care of themselves and monitor their own physical health. Drinking water, using chapstick.
What would you say to someone who's just been diagnosed and it worries that it kind of defines their value and they're not worthy of love anymore?
Being diagnosed sucks. It does. It sucks. You're in the clinic and all of a sudden they deliver those words that you've dreaded your whole life that you're gonna hear. And it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck for a few weeks, but you can't ignore it. Just go and work with the clinic, work with your doctors, and get on your medication. And the meds might make you sick at first, and then you'll switch to another med, and then you're totally fine. So just hang in there. You're gonna be okay. There's lots of people, lots of support. The gay community especially is super supportive and understanding and educated. But undetectable means untransmittable, and this is not the end of your life. You're gonna be out there, you're gonna be fucking, you're gonna be looking hot, you're gonna live a long and healthy life. So, you got this.